So here I am at the grocery store. $12, $12.95, I think $13. Cedar, Brandon Cedars, I think they're called. So I'm just putting my hands under there, putting my hands in the sort of the base and just seeing, you know, how thick they are. So I just get my hand in here, feel it around. You know, like that one's pretty thin. That one's pretty thin. You know, you start feeling, then you all of a sudden you feel one that's a teeny bit thicker. And that's got some nice root flare. So you can see kind of a root there, and they just stick it in this mud, which is unfortunate. And then I kind of look up the base, and this is the one that I was looking at before. It's got nice, it's actually got movement, so that's a little different than some of the other ones. You know, not very good. Kind of feel, and then what I kind of do is I feel up to see where it breaks off into another branch. I need a certain amount of thickness all the way up, but it's looking, I think I have the one that I want already sort of picked out. It's right here. It's got this big huge root coming out, so it's got a nice root flare, and then it's got this movement in it. Most of the other ones are straight, so, and it stays, the taper kind of tapers off nicely. So some of them just have a huge two branches that just chunk out, and then it just drastically reduces. So I'm gonna get this one. So here's the soil. Here's the soil. Comes in. It's just you know, clay essentially. And I've actually taken off quite a bit. There was a big branch here I took off, and I took off some of the tops. There's some tops. You'll be able to see. And really what I try to do is to bring light into this whole lower section, just to see if I can get it to not die, but also just to produce new buds. So I've reduced it quite a bit. Now I didn't really take many roots off, but as soon as I got to sections like this where there's lots of live roots, I sort of stopped. Well, actually I used a screwdriver because it's just so dense. And then I sort of, you know, trimmed some of the roots that were a little bit longer. Some of them, the dead ones that have been folded up to collect, but really the live, all these fine roots are in there. So I'm not trying to bare root it by any means. I really wanted to pull it down to unreveal the sort of base, to start that sort of Nabari section, and it really actually thickened out quite a bit, which is nice. I'm hoping my other one will like that too. But you can see here, these are all little fine roots, so that would have been nice to keep in a ball, because I kind of want to keep this, you know, as the sheen, sort of the heart of the core of the tree, untouched, and then hopefully these roots will all grow out, and then when I transplant I can really get under and start taking some of that out. But yeah, here I am back, couldn't help myself, back at the box store. $12, $13. It doesn't get any better deal than this. So this is my second one I'm going to be getting. Nice bases. And then, you know, you can look and see, like some of them, like this one's got a pretty nice base, but it actually splits quite quickly up the trunk. You know, so here's a much smaller one. That one's pretty small. That one's like a split, so that actually could be a twin trunk. You can see there's two trunks, right? So I could decide to do a twin trunk. I don't think I'm gonna want to. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep looking. And then the other thing I look for is, you can see some of them are not as strong. Looks like a nice top. So here are the two Brandon Cedars I got. So this is the one I just transplanted. So you can see it's kind of got this nice flare. I mean, it cuts in a bit, but it's really nice. And I'm just loving the red that's poking through. And here's the other one. So you can see kind of the difference of base. One's got a little root coming off the back, so it kind of makes it look really thick. But this one's actually quite a bit thicker. And it might be because there was this big, huge branch lower down, where this one didn't have, you know, smaller ones and then split bigger up here. This one does, I noticed, it's got sort of a branch there and a branch there. Let's see if you can get a better view of that. So it's got these three, one, two, 2, 3 branches that all kind of come off there. So it might, you know, it might be that this has sort of become my friend to get the right taper on that one. But so what I've done is I've kind of cleared it out in here. You can see I've kind of pulled some of these out just to make space, get light in there. It would make sense for me to kind of open these up a bit, but we'll see. We'll see. So yeah, there's my 2, and this one's got a little bit of movement in it. You can kind of see it's got a little zigzag in it, especially from that other angle. So there they are for next year, styling next year. Oh, the cedar. So these interior buds did produce a decent amount, not tons, but you know, something like that, it's quite a bit, quite good. But really top heavy. You can just see how much grew up here. And I will, you know, did consider trimming it and designing it again, but I thought, nope, this next year I'm going to repot. So I will try to get it into a nice container next year. See how it grows, probably fertilize it quite heavily. And yeah, see if I can get it to really produce. But yeah, it's really grown out a lot. So it definitely needs to be brought back in and decided, you know, I need to decide which branches I like, which foliage I want to kind of promote for next year. So, but yeah, next step, put it in a new container, see how it flushes out, and probably a post-flush hardened prune. Yeah, maybe take a few branches off just to direct some of that initial push. One sort of clump, and you can see that one tree unfortunately died. I'm not totally sure. I kind of like this huge dead. Okay, so failure. Too hot, too severe wiring. You know, I flipped a lot of the needles down, and so they ended up, almost all of them, you can see, being reversed. I think it was just too much stress on it, you know, and I pulled and reefed these things all around a lot. I'm not totally sure, and I did lose this one way early on, so could be something with the watering and all that too.